What up, though? It's your boy Big Kev. Greetings to the orators, all you inspirers out there, the cerebral navigators, and those who capitalize paradigm shifts in our intellectual atmosphere. You are currently engaged with one of the most distinguished auditory platforms in the digital realm. We transcend traditional expectations, delving deep into discourse pertaining to the art of eloquence. Welcome to the Speakers Roundtable, eloquently presented by Authentically Real. Side by side with me, as always, is not just a friend, but a mentor, my road dog, my confidant, a beacon of inspiration. My brother from another mother, JTM, aka Jesse the Messenger. Holla at your boy.
What's going on, bro? What's going on? We on another episode. Let me tell you something. I'm excited about it as always because at the speakers round table is always some good food here. And let me tell you, I'm
Yeah,
ready to get full. What about you, man?
yeah, bro. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. The day is going good. The week
Oh,
is going good. Uh,
oh,
a lot of stuff is in the mix, man. We got we
oh.
we got hey, we got some stuff. We got some stuff brewing, and for everybody out there, that's a speaker, that's an influencer, that's a game changer, a room shaker, a word
Mm-hmm.
hustler, or whatever you want to call yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, there's some good stuff coming on the horizon. So yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I'm excited about the episodes we got coming. I'm excited about the people we got coming. I'm just excited,
Come on,
period,
man.
bro. So yeah,
Come on,
I'm
bro.
feeling good. So before we jump in, we always got to give a fast shout to those that are supporting us behind the scenes. Big
Yeah.
salute to our premier sponsor, Brand Fluence, the Keynote Content Intensive Group. Understand this: it's not just about branding; it's about leaving a legacy. We're here to
Mm-hmm.
channel influence through your brand. So let's go.
Let's
Shout
go.
out to Brand Fluence. They having a conference November 17th through the 19th in Atlanta, Georgia at the Content Clubhouse down there in Atlanta, hosted or that's actually owned by David Shan. So shout out to Brand Fluence for ticket information. There will be a link if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on any podcast outlet, please go to our YouTube channel, the Speakers Roundtable. I'm sorry, Authentically Real and the Speakers Roundtable. Please go to our channel and you will see the link to this event in our show notes. Let's get on with it. Yo,
Let's
bro,
get down with it.
I'm super excited about the show. I'm super excited about just having our conversations. Y'all come to the Speakers Roundtable, man. We gonna have you involved in the convo. There's a lot of food at the table, right?
A
There's a
lot of
lot to
food
eat
at the
on.
table, man.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so since we really cover and talk a lot about things pertaining to speaking and not just talking.
Hmm.
Let's just go ahead and clear the air with that, right? We're not
Yeah.
talking about talk. There's a lot of people like you don't have to have a certification to be a speaker, bro. You feel me?
Boy.
Like you know how many listen. You know how many people just woke up after E started blowing up, and all of a sudden they seeing my man rolling around in his $150,000 caddy with the automated boy that you drive around. They seeing flying to Dubai and hanging
Uh-huh.
out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doing all. They was like, "Yo, I'm a speaker today." You feel me? I'm a speaker. You don't have to have no certification. You ain't got to go to school for it. He don't, you know what I mean? Hey, you know how many people he
Yeah.
done gassed up when he talking about, yo,
Yeah.
I'm a high school dropout. It took
Yeah.
me 12 years to get a 4-year degree. Niggas, hey, my bad. Ninjas is like, I can do it. I can do it too. And you can. You feel me? You can. Hey, man.
Uh, they got
Hey,
them
man.
gassed up. Huh?
He got you gassed up, man. You can do it too.
Oh my
you,
goodness, boy, you funny, man.
you,
You got him,
hey,
got
you
him
can.
fired up, huh?
He got him gassed up, man. You can do it too. But
uh,
listen,
yeah,
listen. I ain't hating on you. You feel me? I'm not hating on you. If you
right,
feel like you are choosing this profession, by all means, get out here and do what you do. Don't
right,
play
right,
around
right.
with it. You feel me, Jay? Like, don't play with it. Like, if you really gonna get out here and do this and have that type of impact and understand how powerful your words are and understand that you are really harnessing the ability to change the literal trajectory of somebody else's life, Don't play with this thing,
Don't play with it,
right?
man.
Do not play with this. Let this be, if this your craft, beat on your craft. Every day, beat on your craft. Meaning,
Mm-hmm.
put energy on your craft. Get off that PlayStation, get off that Xbox, get off that whatever. Put all
That's
the
real.
extra stuff to the side and start beating on your craft. Understand what you're getting involved in. And so we
That's real.
created this podcast so that you have the opportunity not only to come on here and get the lights put on you, not only that we can shine on you and love on you and get the world to know who you are, right? But we're
Mm-hmm.
also wanting to provide some tools and some things for you to think about since you're going down this path and this is what you're wanting to do as maybe a side profession or as a profession, and you just want to do this and you feel like this is what you do best. Now there's a difference between being a speaker and somebody that can just talk real good. Like if you
Say
can
it
bump your
again.
gums and got the gift of gab, I mean that's cool. But can you have the gift of gab and hold a whole room full of 500 people or 100 people or 50 people? Can you
Mm-hmm.
hold their attention for an hour?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff you can talk about, but can you
Mm-hmm.
hold their attention for an hour? So, the podcast today, we're talking about the art of storytelling. We're talking about
The
the
art
art
of
of
storytelling.
storytelling, how weaving a story can literally transform your speech and it can captivate any audience that you stand in front of. It doesn't matter if you're a white male,
Mm.
a black female, a Hispanic female, right? A German.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter where you're from, what your credence is, what your heritage is. Doesn't matter. None of that. Doesn't matter your sexual orientation. None of that. Let's not make
None of
this
that.
too deep. Let's not. We're not waxing super deep on that. But what
Right.
we're talking about is this is a part of your craft, the art of storytelling. And so we're ready to dive into this thing. How you feeling about that, Jay?
Man, let me tell you something. I believe this is the game changer for anybody that is delving into whether it be the speakers roundtable, your speaking event, you're a teacher at the church, you're a teacher in the school system. You have to be able to tell a story and take people on a journey so they can understand the principles you're sharing with them.
Facts.
If we don't have a story, man, we only look at movies because we like the storyline.
Say that again for the folk in the back that didn't hear you.
We only watch certain movies because we
Yeah,
like the storyline. We like the
yeah,
plot. We know we like what the trailer was about. So now let's get the full movie. Let's sit
yeah,
here for 2 hours with
yeah,
our popcorn and let's watch this movie. Why? Because the trailer showed you it will take you on a journey.
yeah.
And I'm gonna
And
leave it
it
right there. So
resonated
I'm
and,
excited
and,
about it.
and it resonated with you. Either it did or it don't. Like so me and my wife, we don't went to the movies before, right? Like
Hmm.
everybody else has.
Yeah,
And she don't do horror flicks. She can't do it. No
yeah,
matter what, she's like, no, I don't watch that mess.
yeah.
And I'm like, well, you probably should. You scared of it because you was bad as a child, so you scared. You shouldn't be so scared. And she was like, nah, miss me with that, bruh.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just don't do it. I can't do the gore, but I got my nerve because I'm sitting here. I can't watch people like I don't know what it is, Jay. I'm getting older. I'm having a hard time watching like UFC and stuff like that.
yeah,
I used to be able to watch like when I was a kid. Watch when I was a kid, bro. I could watch Faces of Death. You remember that face? You remember that
yeah,
movie, Faces of
yeah,
Death? All right, the
yeah,
look, man. We would have sleepovers on my homeboy Curtis crib, bro. We go down to the movie joint, and bro, we would get like 3 or 4 of these videos, VHS tapes of the Faces of Death, and we'd be like, ooh, he got his leg cut off. Ooh,
yeah,
ooh, he
yeah,
got smashed by that, bro. Now.
yeah. Yeah, you can't take
Oh,
that
bro,
stuff, man.
man, if I see somebody get their finger broke, bro, I'm about to puke.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
made my bro, it messes my soul up. I can't stand it. So fast forward. So we've gone to the movie. She don't like horror flicks. Okay, so here's the thing. You watch a movie because
Hmm.
one, it provokes interest,
Right.
right? It provokes interest in you, and the storyline is something that you like. You show it like you resonate. Like, oh, yo, I like that. That's got me.
Hmm.
So even in the movies, right, the storyline has to be the hook, line, and sinker to get you to go in and spend your little $20 to sit down. If you go into the theater and spend your little extra $15 for the popcorn boy, and maybe another 50 to get popcorn drink and you know a little side
Mm-hmm.
candy or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah,
right? So the storyline has to have that hook, line, and sinker to get flesh in seat.
yeah.
Without the storyline, they not captivating you. So that's why it's important for us to cover this topic, especially for speakers,
Mm,
because you're not just sitting there reading off of some card or slideshow or whatever. That's not going to cut it. You have to understand the different caveats to being a very well-rounded speaker. You want to be a triple-double speaker like basketball. You don't just want to be
mm.
a shooter.
Right.
You don't want to be a shooter because you only get so many shots, right? You don't want to just be a rebounder, which is dope. They depend on you to actually play some offense too. You don't just want to be
Mm-hmm.
a defender or an offensive player or not and don't play defense because we need you on defense too, so we can get the
Yeah,
ball, get some more. Okay, we got that covered.
absolutely.
You cannot just hold a microphone, have a
Mm,
videographer, and stand in front of a crowd and just start talking, thinking that you. Because listen, I've seen it happen.
yeah.
You get booked for 45, 55 minutes, and you thinking that you dope and you're not beating on your craft, and you don't understand that you need storytelling, you need that. After 5, 10 minutes, you done ran out of stuff to talk about.
Bro, real talk. Real talk. And you know what, man? As you know, with me as an evangelist, licensed ordained elder, as one speaking to an audience on a Sunday morning, you have 250 people come in with 250 different problems. You have to believe and know that God has given you a message that can touch all of them
Yeah,
at some point in their life. And when God uses us, he give us the art of storytelling because we can tell them what the gospel has done for us and what it
yeah,
can do for them. You see what I'm saying? So when you
absolutely.
translate that from the church house into your profession or your career,
Mm,
you have a story, but most of the time we minimize our story because we don't think it's powerful enough because it
yeah.
ain't gory enough. It
Mm,
don't have to be.
that part.
It don't have to
It
be.
doesn't have to be.
Hey, I want to hear about the guy that went to prison, but he came out and God changed his life and things happened, or the sister. But I also want to hear about the guy who never went to prison
Yeah.
because he was taught how to manage certain things at a young age.
Manages
I want
emotions.
him, yeah. I
That
want to
yeah,
hear.
that
I
part.
want to hear both of them stories. You know
Yeah,
why?
yeah,
Because they're powerful, as
yeah,
my pastor would say. They're powerful in their own right. In other
yeah,
words, at the right place with the right audience,
yeah.
that story is powerful.
It's
And if
powerful.
you are a people person,
Mm,
you can sit down with anybody, and
yeah,
there's something about your life that will resonate with them on
yeah.
any level.
On any
Why?
level.
Because one thing that humanity has in common is we all have spirits. We all have
That's true.
feelings. We
Yep,
all have emotions.
yep.
And there's something that connects us with everything. Man, let me tell you something. It's something about your spirit and your emotion that connects you with the ocean when you just see how the water moves.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
all built. Oh man, I'm kind of getting off into what we're talking, but let me stop. We all
Oh,
built
you
that
good?
way.
You good?
But this is where the art of storytelling comes from. And the when you tell your story, you have to relate it with things that you know that people can relate to.
Yeah.
Every audience is different. Your story that you tell can be told in different audiences, but you may have to tell it a different way. And it's still the
Right.
same truth because the one way that you tell it is not the one way it all happened.
Right.
It happened in
So
parts.
now
Oh,
bro. Let me ask you this because you said something. You said a couple things. You said a couple things, right?
go ahead.
The gore, the gory,
Hmm.
the ugly, the horrible. Do
Yeah.
you think that there has been? Do you think that there has been air quote, do you think that there's been a pandemic, so to speak, in the speaker's realm where people feel like in order for them to be accepted, received, um, donned as having a authority in this particular space, do you think people have taken upon themselves to add the gore and the horror to their life that they never really lived through? Like people really thinking that I think it's a good thing to just say I was homeless, even though you ain't never slept a day in the street in your life. Do you think that
They,
that's happened?
I'm gonna say how my grandmama used to say it. Some people stretch the truth.
Mm,
Hey, let me tell you something. They were homeless, but they went over to a friend's house and he had an extra bedroom. So is you really homeless or you just ain't got your own home? You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
They
I,
didn't
I
they lost sight on what they had and
yeah.
mismanaged the money. They got kicked out the apartment,
Yeah.
but they can go live with auntie. And the
Oh, I
only thing
got
they
you.
have to do to carry their load is make sure they mow the yard every week, take out the
Yeah.
trash.
Take out the
You know what I'm
trash.
saying? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So is it really homeless or you just don't have your own house? Cause some
I,
what people call homeless ain't
yeah.
homeless.
Let me tell you. Okay, so those of you that might be
I know where you go.
those
I know where you go.
those those, those of you that hey, there's some folk out there that really think that that's cute. I swear on my
Is
life, bro. Hey, man, it's not cute that you acting like you was living in them streets, bro. It's
yeah.
not cute because
No.
listen, it's some of us that really did that.
Yeah.
It's some of us
Yeah.
that really did that.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't even like talking about it because I mean it don't give you a rite of passage. It's not like a you know what I'm saying? It ain't like clout because that just simply means you weren't managing your life right.
That's all.
That ain't that you got what my mom used to say, you got piss poor management skills,
That's it.
right?
That's
You
it.
got poor
Yeah.
interpersonal and communication skills. You got
Mm-hmm.
poor financial habits.
Mm-hmm.
You made some really horrible choices.
Yeah.
You decided to do something and that decision that you made was horrible and that landed
Mm-hmm.
you in that position where you was possibly without residence, nowhere to lay your head, and you had to rely on somebody else's ability to make better decisions with their life
Mm-hmm.
so that you would have somewhere to sleep. And that might have
And
been
you
a girl that you was shacked up with.
yeah. And you
You know
know
what I'm
what,
saying?
Kev? And
Yeah,
that's okay, but be
it
okay
is.
saying that.
But be okay and be honest about it. So
That
so
part.
th-
So
that part. So that
yeah.
I don't want to get off on a tangent, but I really wanted to bring that up because you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned people think that they cannot be accepted as an authority in the speaker space if they don't have the ugly and the gore. Uh, Shout out to everybody that don't have to act like they got it out the gutter. Shout out to
Right.
you. Shout out to
Right.
you that you really
Yeah.
standing on you really shining the light on the fact that you have morals and principles. You didn't sleep around. That you have both your parents in the house, even if you had one parent in the house,
Right.
even if you was in a foster care, whatever your story is, man, stand on that because your life did not happen for you. It happened to you for somebody else.
Yeah. And you
And
know
you
what,
know what I'm saying?
man? Go ahead. Go. Let me say this, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
I feel
Go
where you
for it.
at because a lot of times those that have the gory stories try to make those that hadn't went through that tough stuff feel like they are not the stuff.
Qualified. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you ain't went through what I went through. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't, man. I didn't.
Nope. You're right.
But at the same,
I didn't go
but,
through that.
but you know what? On the flip side, you didn't go through what I went through.
You didn't go through what I went through.
You know what
You
it's
didn't go through
like
what I
for
went
your
through.
parents to handle their business, and then everybody in the hood that like you, they tell you, "Yo, you think you better than everybody." Man, no,
Right.
man, I can't help it. But they say you think you better than everybody, and so when you try to go over and really befriend them, they start being jealous of you because your mom and daddy handled this or
Right.
grandmama handled this. And yours did. Does that make my story stronger than yours? No, man. That's just
Mm-mm.
my story.
That's my
This is just
story,
your
yo.
story. So
Yeah,
my story has a place in the marketplace.
yeah.
So what we're saying right now, stick a pin in this one.
Stick it in
Don't
there.
minimize nobody else's story because your story doesn't look like theirs or their
Stick
story
it in
doesn't
there.
look like yours.
Right.
Don't do that.
Don't do
Because
that.
when you do that, you're missing the art of storytelling, and now
Yes.
you're starting to compare. Ooh,
There you go. There you
you're
go.
starting to compare.
And that go
And
and Jay, that what you talking about, not to
mhm,
cut you off, but you really
no,
like
no,
that's a good segue
mhm,
into our first pinpoint, right?
absolutely.
Into our first pinpoint, the emotional connection. The emotional connection in your art of storytelling. That's the very first critical pinpoint. There is a human
Hmm.
element that is connected to your story. All of us are hardwired to connect with stories as they evoke emotion.
Hmm.
And when they evoke that emotion, you might get anger, you might get sadness, you might get happy, joy, tears. I don't know, whatever that emotion is. Some stories might bring anxiety. Some stories might evoke, some type of restlessness. I don't know. Whatever that is, you connect with a story because there is a human element involved. Do you
Hmm.
think that a lot of people who are failing in the speaker space are failing because they are trying to adopt a gory story, as you coined it? I think that might be what we
Hmm.
call this episode, gory story.
Gory
They're
story.
they're they're trying to adopt a element that is not a part of their authentic story, and because they're trying to adopt this, they cannot connect the human element to it. Do you think that
Right.
that's that? You know what I'm saying? Do you think that that's
Yeah.
a problem?
That could be very much a problem because when you try to connect something that you're not being authentic. So game recognize game, real recognize real,
They
fake
recognize.
recognize the fake. You see what I'm
Let me
saying?
ask you this.
So
Let me ask you this real quick. Who can recognize game faster, adults or kids?
oh, children can recognize it real quick.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah,
They can
they
tell.
recognize it real quick. Yeah,
Oh, they can
yeah,
smell it.
yeah. They smell it real quick. Oh man, he
They
high cap.
smell it.
He
Yeah,
cap it. Yeah,
they smell
because
it.
let me tell you why. Ooh, let me tell you
Come
why.
on.
Your speech will betray everything that you say if it's not real.
Bro, get out my head, bro.
Hmm. Your
Get out my
speech will
head,
betray
bro.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it'll
will.
betray
Yeah,
you. If
yeah,
what you're talking about is not real, your conversations will betray you,
yeah.
and then it will expose you.
It will definitely expose you. It's coming out. It's
Oh
coming
yeah,
out. It's coming out.
yeah.
And so the emotional side of your storytelling, your emotional connection, can literally bridge the gap between you and your audience,
Hmm.
as long as you're being authentically real about what
Hmm.
you're saying.
True.
Now, now, do you believe that in this art of storytelling, whenever you tell a story, do you think that it is okay to have a specific portion of your story to be a tad bit, you might be fudging the numbers a little bit? Do you think that do you use that in your approach? Do you use that in some of your tactics?
No, I don't use none of that, man. Because let me tell you why. One, that's just not my character to put that in there. I'm not gonna do it because I feel like this. If I'm on the stage, I'm on the stage for a reason.
Yeah,
You invited me for a reason. So let
right.
me just keep being authentically real. Now, if you've been lying and faking the whole time, you're gonna have to keep it up, or either you're gonna expose. Now you got to deal with the consequences of do you lose your audience, or do you gain more respect because you just told them the truth? Now that's boy, that's a
Mm,
50-50 deal there.
yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
use that. I don't use those tactics. And then the other thing is this: I couldn't be comfortable with myself. I couldn't be real with myself. I
If you up
couldn't
there telling the
live with
whole lie,
myself because you telling the whole lie. And then the other thing is, I got three sons that know me.
yeah,
I got a wife live with me. You see what I'm saying?
yeah. Hold.
And so I got sons, I got a wife, I got my family. people that know me. And how can you face them if it ain't all that you said it would be?
Right.
Unless unless when you make it, you're gonna start paying them off to be quiet. No, what you gonna do? I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is this, my brother, is to not be authentically real with where you are and how you arrived at that point is a discredit to your character
Yeah. Yeah.
and your
It is.
integrity.
It is.
You don't have to stretch that
Yeah.
because people will detect that. Say it
Yeah.
again. You don't have to
You don't
stretch
gotta
that
stretch
because
it.
they will detect that.
Yeah. All right.
Because your
Well,
speech,
yeah,
again,
will
will
betray
betray
you.
you.
Yeah. So understand the emotional human element and the emotional connection. And you've already covered relatability. They have to be able to relate. So really quick before we move to point number 2, they have to be able to relate to
Mhm.
what you're talking about. Right? You
Right.
can't go and tell a war story to a group of 5th graders. Like they're not going to relate to that.
Mm-mm.
They're
You
not going
can't
to
you
like
can't do the
you
you
can't
can't do the major pain on them.
you can't do the major pain. You can't do the major pain on the 5th graders. You can't don't do that, right? Hey, be easy with them, Mud. Don't do that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't go into a youth detention center and talk about how you flexing and flossing in the streets and how you bought the new whip and you got the red bottoms, and they're not going to relate to that.
Right. That's real,
They're
man.
not going to relate to that, right? You can't do it. And I don't like the name drop, but I'm a go here. There was a lady that she was a bully. She was a school bully speaker. And she's an author. She wrote this book. I got it on my bookshelf called Stop Laughing at Me. And this individual, it was very obvious that she was lying to these kids about
Mhm.
how she was getting bullied in school. Like you could see it in their face. And there was a time I'm a plug the video right here. There was a time where she actually spoke and she tried to cry in front of the kids. And you could see she was trying to squeeze out them tears. And put the little quiver in the voice. And you could just from the video, you could tell that she was not being authentic. 1, there was no connection with the kids. 2, 3, she was lying. Like she was lying so profusely.
Everybody's
it was
laughing,
so bad.
you know?
My wife was like,
And,
did she really try to cry? And my wife she ain't on that, bro. She ain't on that, bro. It was horrible. This was hard. I'm not trying to shame nobody,
No,
but at
no.
the end of the day, there has to be some emotional connection. You don't have to have a
Right.
gory story to be profitable, to be successful, and to be impactful. All right. So let's cover that. Emotional connection, human element, and relatability. That is number 1. Write this down, guys. Emotional connection, human element, and relatability. That has to be a part of your art of storytelling. That moves us to point number 2. Enhanced memory retention.
Yeah.
Do you remember things better, Jay, when you read them or when someone tells you something that is connected with maybe a song or maybe some type of historical event or whatever? Do you remember things better by reading or through tacit learning?
I through the tacit learning, I remember it better like that, man, because it's connected me to a journey with them.
Yeah.
And I go back in time, like, man, I know where I was when I heard Frankie Beverly,
Right. In the
Joy and
maze.
Pain. And then, I know where I was, you know what I'm saying? And I know what I was dealing with. And that
Shout out,
song sparked it. Yeah, man.
shout out to Frankie Beverly and Maze.
That boy
Hey, they
done
used to come down here to Cincinnati for the Macy's Music Festival. Shout out to Frankie Beverly and Maze, yo.
That's what's up, man. Let me tell you, man, Frankie done helped populate this world, man.
You feel me? Yeah.
But I relate with it better, bro, because it takes me on a journey. The moment I connect, I'm ready to ride.
Yeah.
Let's ride.
Let's
you know
ride.
why? Because it grabbed me at a place where I could remember what was happening to me at that time when they
Right.
said this thing. This is why in the art of storytelling, you're not trying to captivate everybody.
Yeah.
You're just trying to captivate somebody.
Somebody.
Because
Yeah.
your story from top to bottom is not going to always resonate with everyone. But let me
Ooh,
tell you something.
I like that. I like
Oh,
that. No, watch
come on,
this.
man.
Stay there. Stay there. Cause what
Yeah,
that's dope.
yeah.
That's dope because I've heard this before and this is so powerful. If you speak to try, if in your speak, if you're trying to speak to everybody, nobody hears you.
Oh, my goodness.
If you
Yeah,
try to speak to everybody, nobody hears you. But if
nobody
you
hears
speak
you.
to that one somebody, everybody hears you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Everybody
Bro, let
hears
me
you.
tell you, why. I and you got to look at it like this, everyone. You all have to look at it like this. In that art of storytelling, you want to take people, you want to connect with the audience
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
and you want to take them on a journey.
Journey.
You
Yes.
have to let them
Visual
know
imagery. Are we
come
talking
on,
about
man.
visual? There you go.
Yeah,
That's the second.
absolutely.
That's another pillar in that visual
Yeah,
imagery. Hit. Go on. Get that.
you gotta have them connected so they can go on this visual journey with you, the imagery of where you're taking them. You're saying we want to go to California, but you're telling me this is how we're going to get here.
Yeah.
And this is what's going to happen. Everything has to have an interest point for somebody. You
Right.
know what? Some people get a thrill of going to the airport, bro, just going through the gate and
Yeah.
knowing I got my ticket.
Yeah. Yeah.
They get on the plane, go to sleep, don't look down at the ground,
They
don't
don't
look at
care
the
nothing.
clouds.
Yeah.
Some people wait, they can't stand the line, but they can't wait to get on the plane because they want to look out the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people don't care about sitting at the first class.
Right.
Someone just give me the first seat behind the last first class. I
Yeah.
still feel like
Right.
it's
Right. Right.
everybody has a different thing about the journey
Yeah.
of going to California, from
Yeah.
Texas to California, or from Cincinnati to California.
Yeah.
So that visual imagery is important. And if we miss that,
Yeah.
they'll never get on the
They'll
plane.
never get on the plane. Do
They'll
you
never
bring
get butts
do
and
you
seats.
do you bring props when you speak, bro? Do you bring props? Have you done that?
I've done that before, but usually I become the prop.
You become a prop. Okay. I
Let me
mean,
tell
I
you
get
why.
that.
Even when I'm preaching or I'm speaking at the high schools, or I'm just speaking at one of the community events, my wife said, "You emulate people's voice so good.
Yeah.
You do." She said, "You can mock anybody." And man, I'll get into, if I'm talking about uh the imagery of someone being deputized to
Yeah.
be in charge while the head man is gone. I
Mm.
always use Matt Dillon. Every time Matt Dillon got ready to go out of town,
Yeah.
he always deputized Festus to be the sheriff. And when he did that, if y'all notice, anybody that's old school cowboy people like watching these old school cowboy shows, Festus' walk changed
Yeah,
when
it
Matt
did.
put him in charge. He
Ah.
just walked, he bust up in the saloon just to let people know, I got the badge, y'all. I'm the man. Matt
Facts.
gone 3 days and I'm in charge. And so my wife laughed because I use all of that. So I become the prop.
Yeah.
And that's something that God has just gifted me with. And I use it to my advantage. And when I tell you, so many people in the audience, they connect with it because I know the audience I'm dealing with, and I can use that same ideology with a younger crowd, but I
Yeah.
use some movies that they could connect with that's in their day and
That's
time right now. You
in
know what
they
I'm
day
saying?
and time. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
yeah. So yeah. So the enhanced memory retention, we covered emotional connection. Now we're on enhanced memory retention, which is people sticking better to your story. They can understand stories and better than they relate to facts and data. Like you'll wear your crowd out if you just giving them. Did you know 15% of this and 13% of that, and in 1998, 200% of this, and people within 30 seconds they sleep, like they done, it's over. So
Mhm.
we've covered that, and now we're talking about visual imagery. And if y'all know me, those of you that know me that are listening to this, you know I'm good for bringing a prop.
Yeah.
Hey, Mud, you mess around and get me to bring a loaf of bread. and I'm gonna work that thing out. You feel me? I'm gonna
yeah,
work
I
that.
love.
I'm gonna work that thing out. I'm gonna show you how to be how it's blessed to be broken over over a loaf of bread.
Yeah,
Like I'm
yeah,
gonna bring that thing to you. So
man.
bringing your story out and having that story being relatable to the people is very key. And now that we on this point, I'm gonna take a really quick 15-second shout out to our premier sponsor for this podcast is Brandfluence. They are the keynote content intensive group. Understand this. It's not just about branding. It's not just about leaving a legacy. We're literally here to channel influence through your brand. They are holding a content intensive conference down in Atlanta, Georgia, November 17th, 18th, and 19th. Tickets and ticket information will be in the link that you will be able to find located in the show notes of this podcast if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on any podcast outlet, please go to our YouTube channel, Authentically Real, or the Speakers Roundtable, and go into the show notes, and you will be able to find the link there at the top. Get your tickets. From what I hear, they are only allowed to have 50 people in the building, and they are already selling tickets before they are going public on Monday. So these tickets are going fast. They are having a pre-sale for the tickets, and I believe they're $697 for 2 days, and you get literally everything content related for your website, your EPK packs. They're going to have professional videographers there, 3 of them. They're going to have professional cameramen there to take stills. You can get still photos, still pictures. You're going to have a crowd of 40 to 50 people there that you can speak to, that you're going to be speaking to, and you'll be able to get real information. You also get drone footage. Like, it's going to be a whole production for $697. So guys, please go in the show notes, get the information, sign up, get your tickets. And I believe that the tickets are on sale until the end of the month, and then they go up, I believe, in October. This is November 17th, 18th, and 19th. Brandfluence, the keynote content intensive group. All right, so guys, so now we've covered emotional connection. We've also covered enhanced memory retention. And then the third part of the art of storytelling is going to be structural simplicity. Structural simplicity. We're talking about linear flow, clear takeaways. Like, when we talk about structural simplicity, we're talking about, are you trying to tell a story that could probably take you 2 hours? It probably should be in a book. How do you break that down to simplify that for somebody to be able to pull the nuggets out of that? Do you walk the people through how you could possibly do that? How do you take your most intense story and, Jay, they say, hey, we need you to come in to Amazon. We need you to talk to the people, whatever. And they told you got 45, but something happened. Now you only get 30 minutes. What do you do in your head? What do you do in your head to go over your main story, that main punch factor, to pull out the main ingredient and get that to the people instead of stretching it out? How do you simplify that?
Well, I think one of the first things you definitely have to do, and I'll tell you how I flow, because everybody has a different setup of how they do things. If it seems like I excel best under pressure. When you tell me I got 45, but then, hey man, something happened, you only got 20 minutes. No problem.
No problem.
Give me 17. I give you 3 minutes back. Because I know I'm that well versed on how to deliver in a small increments of time. Because as a poet and as an artist, you get about 20 seconds, and that's stretching to grab the people's attention when they hear the music.
Yep.
And then if you got their attention, you got 3 minutes to give them a whole big picture of what this song is about and how it can change a relationship or whatever. So what I do, man, I find out what are the key points. You got to know this before you go in there. What are the key things? What are their pain points? What is it that they need help in?
Yeah.
And then once they tell you that, what story, not just going in and giving them principle, but you got to give them principle and a story that matches, so it can help them to understand the context of what it is the company is looking for from those employees.
Right.
And so everybody, one thing about Amazon, if you look about Amazon right now, it's a team.
Yeah.
Everything about it is a team.
There you
So let's
go.
deal with the team
Oh, so
factor. You know what I'm saying?
hold on, because you hit something heavy. You hit something heavy. So the art, even in this whole space of what we're talking about, storytelling and the art of building your story. First of all, let me say this. Let me say to interject here to your point.
Go ahead, brother.
One, you got to get your reps in.
Yeah.
So whatever your story is, you got to get your reps in, especially if you're. And listen, everybody's not going to be authentic. Let's just go ahead and keep that. Mm-hmm. Let's keep that on front row. Everybody's not going to be real and authentic. There are going to be people that are actually adding, they're ad-libbing, they're adding stuff to their story. Okay, whatever. Fash out to you if that's what you do. Do your thing. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, and you are though, I'm talking to those of you that are authentic about your story and what you're telling is really something that actually happened to you. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have any trouble telling your story and relating your story to other people in whatever situation. As you notice, the biggest icon in this space, Eric Thomas, he can go corporate, he can go church, he can go jailhouse, he can go detention center, he can go Catholic church, Protestant church, he can go what. His story is so universal. Why? Because he's given so many reps telling this story that he knows how to. He's the master crafter. He can bend and blend the story, not take away from it, but allow that story to be implemented in other people's lives, and they can take that away from the speech or whatever and implement it and do whatever and get whatever he wants. Okay. Point is this, to your point, when it comes to this, when you're talking about companies like in Amazon, if you're doing corporate, it is very wise for you. Do you think it is wise for them to do your reconnaissance work beforehand of the company? Before you even send out the proposal that, hey, let me come speak, whatever, I'm come do some work. Even if they ask you whatever, do your pre-work, find out what the company motto is, find out what their history is, find out who works, find out what is their biggest thing. You interview the company before you take the gig, and then you can mold your story around the principles that they're saying, this is what we need help with, this is what we do. The fact that you're brought up, the fact that Amazon is team, like that's huge.
Absolutely. Let me tell you, man, if we don't do those things, and if you don't do those things, you're going to do yourself a disservice and the people too. And this one invite and this one call could turn into no calls. Yeah. Or it can turn into multiple calls, because if you go to one Amazon location, boy, they got places all over. They got locations everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's up to us to make sure we do the due diligence enough to service what they're asking for. Yeah. That's it. Maximize that. Man, so know that going in. Yeah. And then if they give you 30 minutes and they say, well, you got 30 minutes top, man, give them 3 minutes back. Do it in 17.
Do it in 17, give them 3 minutes.
Bro,
give them some change.
Give them some change. Let me tell you something, because
I love it.
Let them tell you, hey man, you still got 3 minutes. No, it's good. I'm good.
Yeah.
That means they want some more, because you got them. So man, if you give me 30 minutes, I ain't using the whole 30 minutes. I'm always using some change back.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this, because we run out of time. We don't want to hold y'all too long. All right. So let's go to our third point. We're talking about, so we just covered structural simplicity. We're talking about the linear flow, how your story needs to flow. It needs to have a clear beginning, a clear middle. It needs to have an ending, and make it easy for the audience to follow along with the story. Don't give them complex, situations jumping from here to there, because you so used to telling your friend and your boys and your girl and your cousins and whomever, and you done told the story so many times, you done added stuff to it, that you done enhanced the character, or you done enhanced the horror and whatever. Make sure that it's simple, that they can follow. Number four, really quick for those that didn't write this down. Number 1, emotional connection. Number 2, enhanced memory retention. Number 3, we've covered structural simplicity, and we're going to number 4, guys. Number 4, engage multiple senses. We're talking about sensory stimulation. A good story doesn't just engage the ears. It doesn't just engage the hearers, but the mind's eye. The mind's eye, like how you see a good story. Somebody, a good actor in a movie, Jay.
Yeah.
I've seen some good actors in some of these movies, and when man, I'm watching this movie. I'm like, yo, dude pissed me off. Like real talk. You know what I'm saying? And I go look his
Yeah.
stuff up on Wikipedia or something like, who is this Joker, man? Like, he really got me angry. Like, I'm in my feels. He pissed me off. Like, I'm
Yeah.
heated.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good actor. Like, literally, he's a good actor. He's a good storyteller, right? He knows how to play his part. He knows how to make your mind's eye follow along. And you getting so wrapped up in the story and his character that you thinking, is this Joker human? Like, where's he? Like, do he really treat people like this? Like, that's a good actor, right?
Yeah.
A good storyteller, Jay, does the same thing. You engage the mind's eye of your listener, of your hearer. You provoke their emotions and sometimes even the senses of touch or smell through descriptive language. Let's talk about that.
Man.
Let's talk about that. So when is it appropriate to get super deep, and when is it appropriate not to?
I believe it's appropriate to get super deep once they have connected, because now they have opened up and they become vulnerable and they're fully invested in what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
But you can't take them so deep that you drown them. You got to let them come up for a little air every now and then.
Right.
Let them and I just take the way how I flow is I take them deep.
Yeah.
Then I give them something, let them laugh a little bit, let them breathe. Why?
Adding humor.
Because man, let them know, man, it's serious, but it's not that serious.
Ain't that deep.
Get a little laugh. And what happens is, bro, I've discovered they stay connected a lot longer.
Yeah.
They stay connected a lot longer. You can't try to slay the whole house, but at the same time, you come in to slay the house.
You coming to slay the house.
Yeah. So, in other words, you're going to give 110%. You're going to, every time when you're there. And what I've found out too is when you're speaking, and I did this as an artist, and I still do this as an artist. I have 3 points on the stage that I'm looking for in the audience. I got a left, I got a right, and I got a center.
They got a center.
It's gonna be somebody on the left that I connect with, that I can look at. Come on, bro.
I was about to ask you that. I was about to ask you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, bro.
So
you got to have that.
So that now, and now that you say that, that goes back to our previous statement. If you try to speak to everybody, nobody hears you.
Come on, man.
But if you speak to that one somebody, everybody hears you. So now that you say that, do you here's a gem. Here's a gem. Don't speak to the entire. You got 50 people in this room. You got 100 people in this room. You got 1,000 people in this room. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out if that's what gets your motor turning. Shout out to you. You feel me?
Love it.
Don't try to speak to the whole room. People are nosy.
Yeah.
People nosy than a mug, bro. People nosy. Have a conversation.
Yeah, man.
You just said, you're gonna listen. If bigots and Klansmen and skinheads and warlocks and witches and demonic people and if they can get a crowd of people to listen to them, do you not think the called, the chosen, the qualified, the anointed have people that want to listen to them? Somebody is there that want to listen to you, dog.
Yeah, it is.
You don't got to speak to the whole crowd. Your voice is not for everybody. But there is somebody in that room that was planted there just for you. Lock in with that person. Lock in with that one person, whether they be on the left, whether they be on Jay's right, whether they be in the middle of Jay. Lock in with them. You'll see them nodding. They at the edge of their seat. They tapped in. They paying attention. Hold a conversation with them and them alone. And I promise you, everybody in that room is going to hear you.
Bruh, let me tell you something, man. I've seen speakers do this.
Yeah.
And I love it because when I see the reaction of myself, even from looking at it on TV and you looking at the audience and it says, say, bro, you hear me? Everybody turns to see who this bro is.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Now everybody is listening.
Now everybody's listening.
And bro feels so invested that he chose him to confirm the point he was making on stage. Now everybody is like, boom. Man, this is the art of storytelling.
It's the art of storytelling. It's the art of it. It's the art of it.
Somebody in there is resonating, and you
Yeah.
have to scan that audience and find out who it is and
Find your
lock in
active,
with them.
yeah,
Come
find your
on, bro.
active listener. Lock in with
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Lock in with them. And when
Yep.
you do, everybody else gonna get nosy.
Yeah. They
I
gonna get,
like that, bro.
hey, people is nosy, bro. People are nosy by nature. They are nosy, bro. They want to hear what you talking about. And if you
Yeah.
got somebody and you done dropped the gym and somebody be like, ooh, hit them with, bro. Yeah, the rest of the room missing. You got that.
Yeah.
You got me. You
Absolutely.
feel me, bro? And everybody like, who you talking
Absolutely.
to? Yeah, people nosy, bro. They want to hear. And now you done got them re-engaged. So what do you think
Yeah.
about this really quick before we go to point number
Okay.
5?
Okay.
We're talking about strategic pauses. Strategic pauses. When you said it, you don't want to drown the whole, let them come up for air.
Yeah.
Let them
Absolutely.
come up for air. You say your
Yeah.
point, pause, scan,
hmm
watch, listen for responses to oohs and ahs. Listen
Bruh.
for that. Take the strategic pause. Give yourself a chance to reset, whether it be 15 to 20 seconds, whatever. Just pause and
Yeah.
watch, observe.
Let me tell you, man. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I had a speaking engagement, and the audience wasn't really moving this and that, and I was okay with it. But what I said was to trigger some thoughts to re-engage because I saw some people was drifting. I said, you know what? I know y'all might think it's quiet in here. Ain't nothing happening. But I'm an old country boy. And I found out an old farmer said, son, you can feel a milk jug better when it's sitting still.
Yeah. I like them old
All of
country
a sudden,
analogies.
you see people turning at each other, smiling. Why? They
Yeah.
resonated with it because it was an older audience. They
Yeah.
understood
They
it. If the
understood.
cow is moving all over the place, you
You
can't
can't
spill the
get that
milk
milk.
jug. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't get it.
Mm-mm.
But what that did was it re-engaged them.
Mm.
And then now they're listening again because
Yeah.
there are going to be some highs and lows, man. And you got
For
to know
sure.
how to re-engage real quick.
Yeah.
And that opened up another avenue for me to connect with. And before you know it, what I'm talking about is now I was talking about the power of oneness.
Yeah.
I was talking about the power of oneness. Now, when they re-engage, we're one again right here.
Right.
Because some people
Right.
got off track. And
Yeah.
I'm there to help the church. I'm there to help this group of people. So
Yeah.
let me make sure you stay engaged long enough to receive something.
Something.
Because you came here for something.
Yeah.
Now let's make sure you leave with something.
That's a fact.
You know,
That's a fact.
and it
That's
won't be
beautiful.
because the information wasn't there. You got to
Right.
choose to receive.
You got to
But
choose to
my
receive
job is
it.
to bring the mail
Yeah.
and to deliver the mail. You know what I'm
That's it.
saying?
Yeah.
So,
All right. So let's let's do this really quick. Before we jump off of here. I'm going to give you a recap really fast. If you didn't write this down again. We got so first point we hit was emotional connection, the human element and relatability. All right. This is the art of storytelling. Point number 2, we have an enhanced memory retention. We're talking about sticky ideas. People remember stories better than plain facts or plain just straight out feeding them and busting them over the head with data, right? There's visual imagery that has to be a part of your story. A well-told story paints a picture, making it easy for the audience to recall details. You got to give them details. You got to give that visual imagery. You got to play on that. Point number 3, we're talking about structural simplicity. Don't overdo it. Don't overcomplicate it. There has to be a linear flow to your story. That story has to offer a clear beginning, a clear middle, and an absolute ending, and make it easy for the audience to follow along with what you're telling them, right? That structural simplicity and linear flow. Have a clear takeaway. Have a structured narrative. The core message of your lesson, it has to be evident, and it has to be evident and more impactful for your story, for them to take whatever you want them to take away from your story. Point number 4. Engaging multiple senses. Your story has to engage multiple senses. This makes you a triple-double killer on the court when it comes to speaking. If you do this, you got that triple-double life. When you're hitting sensory stimulation, meaning a good story doesn't just engage the ears, it doesn't just engage the hearers, but the mind's eye, the emotions, and sometimes even the senses of touch or smell through descriptive language. All right. And then
Mm-hmm.
you scan for active listening. That is a key element that you lock in on that one person, scan, you listen, you watch, right? Look for your active listeners. And point number five in the art of storytelling, universality and
Mm-hmm.
timelessness. We're talking about cross-cultural connections and historical links to your story. Now let's not overcomplicate this thing, but these are the 5 key elements to the art of storytelling to make you a powerful, more impactful speaker, an orator, right? Cross-cultural connection. Stories can literally transcend cultural and linguistic barriers. They resonate because they touch upon shared human experiences. For instance, the one universal language that everybody on the planet understands and knows, Jay, is what?
Mm-hmm.
Love.
Love all day long.
It don't
All day
matter
long.
if you speaking in Hindu, if you speaking in Mandarin. It doesn't matter if you speaking to a crowd in Zimbabwe, in South Arizona, in Texas, in Canada. It doesn't matter if you in Australia. It doesn't matter. Everybody speaks and understands love.
That's right.
So that
Let me.
last point, universality and timelessness. Talk to the
Mhm.
folk, bro, about cross cultural connections.
Love, man. As he said, that's a universal language everywhere. And I like to say this because don't take this personal, but even the animal kingdom understand what love is.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And us as intelligent human beings, we must reconnect with it on so many levels and realize this is putting the needle on the record right here.
yeah,
If love is not involved in what you're talking about, you will not come across those boundary lines, because in order for people to open up, they have to feel a certain level of love that exudes from you in your
yeah.
conversation, in your handshake, in your smile. They have to be able to detect that even if they don't know you. Man, let me tell you, love is so powerful, it can be just seen in the eyes of a person.
Right. Yeah.
So when we're talking about dealing with cross cultural boundaries and all this, the very thing that gives us passage is love.
One thing. 1,000. 1,000.
That right there, that is the ticket to get into the hearts of men and women in order for them to hear your story. Do they feel love coming from what you say? Can they see love in your eyes? Can they feel love when you shake their hand? Can they see
Mm.
love and feel love in your smile?
Yeah. Mm.
There is a time and place for us all to be tough, but at the end of the day, I don't care how tough you are. There's some love off in there
Yeah.
somewhere,
Yeah. Absolutely. And
and so we
that's a
got to
shared
touch
human
those
experience.
points.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a shared
1,000.
human experience,
Those are
man.
shared human experiences.
I,
The last point is the historical link. So classic
mhm,
stories are parables, and now we've heard a million parables. You go to a black church, your pastor
mhm.
probably done told several parables, several stories that and that joke ain't closed near one of them. He done hit you about 9 different stories, right? You know what I
I know you
Classic
come from.
stories and parables have been employed with speakers throughout history, reinforcing the timeless appeal of a good narrative. One major
Mhm,
story that everybody knows that was actually created by Dennis Kimbrough,
mhm.
but that was adopted by one of the world's most prolific speakers that has brought this person from poverty to almost literally being a billionaire,
Mm.
was the Guru story.
The guru story.
The Guru story.
Wow.
That story was created by Dennis Kimbrough and was adopted by one Dr. Eric Thomas, and
Mhm.
is the most prolific story around the world because a lot of people can relate to that.
Right.
There is love in there. There's concern.
Mhm.
There's a human element involved in that. And that right there should be enough to show you how powerful it is for you to tap into the art of storytelling,
Mhm.
understanding how prolific it can be, understanding how profound it can be, and understanding the power behind tapping into this and understanding if you put all 5 of these elements into your story, you have the ability to change and shift the atmosphere in any single room that you walk in. It doesn't matter where you go, doesn't matter who you talk to, doesn't matter if it's corporate, private, doesn't matter if it's a school, college, it doesn't matter if it's high schoolers, 12th graders, doesn't matter if it's 6th graders, it doesn't matter if you go to kindergartners. If you have all 5 of these elements in your process, you will live a triple-double life in this speaker's realm, and you will become one of the most prolific and powerful, impactful speakers that have ever graced the stage.
Man, look here. You got to have your parables. You got to have all of these things that you could talk about, because if you don't have that, you have nothing for the people to connect to.
Facts.
And that guru story is so powerful. I remember the first time I heard it years ago. I was at work. I was driving a garbage truck. Yeah, I was a garbage man. That's what I was. That's what it was. But I'm a businessman now.
Yeah.
But that I heard that story from Eric Thomas while I was driving,
Yeah.
and I was training people. I was training people to drive, and I told them, I'm not trying to teach you how to drive a truck. I'm just trying to teach you how to operate it.
There you go.
Big difference.
Yeah, big difference.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You already know how to drive. That's what they hire. And so, and I used that even one time. I said, until you want to learn this better than you want to check,
Yeah.
then you'll be one of the best drivers.
There you go.
You got to want to learn how to do this more than you want to check.
You want to get that check.
Yeah. I just flipped that. I took it and flipped it because it made sense with what I was doing.
Facts. Yeah.
You see how quick I was? I just did that. Like, man, until you want to learn how to operate this truck more than you want to check, then I can make you one of the baddest drivers out here. Cold.
Cold with it.
Coldest operators. Awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
So, man, those parables, man, we have parables all throughout our life. Yeah. All we have to do is grab them, simplify them, and make it applicable to the audience that we're dealing with, or the person that you're dealing with, or the situation you're in front of. Yeah. And it will work. It will work. It will. Because it's coming from a place of truth. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. Yo, this was a dope conversation. I really enjoy this when we do these, when we're giving you these different tools that you can use to not only impact your own life, but improve your influence, impact your keynote, and become a triple double. I love that. Be a triple double. Be a triple double speaker, man.
Let them know what a triple double is, Kev. Let them know. Some people may not know what it is.
A triple double speaker is someone that literally can come into a room, and not only did you touch their heart, you caused the person to move the needle in their life.
Come on, man.
You caused them to reflect on the circle of influence that they have, who is around them, who is influencing them, what are the horrible, disgusting habits that they keep reverting to and falling back to every day. You cause them to check themselves on how they are or are not giving 120 or pouring out or emptying the bucket in their life every day. And when you're done, a real triple double speaker, when you're done, you have given them a call to action that they can deploy that in their life before they walk out of that room.
Come on,
you have moved them in a way so much so that before you're done speaking, before the last syllable rolls off your lips, they're ready to hit the road running. They're ready to implement. They're ready to do. They remember. They are taking away, and they're taking that information that you've given them, and they can take that home, and they can disperse that amongst their family, amongst their neighborhood, amongst their people, their friends, they influence.
Yeah.
That's a triple double. That's a triple. When Michael Jordan, before we leave, Michael Jordan said that he played the game. He played the game so that the working mom, the stay-home mama, he played the game so good, he thought about her. Because he knew if he got her, she controlled the money. and she was gonna get she was gonna get Man to come back, buy popcorn, get some more seats. Matter of fact, get better seats to sit down closest to the floor, buy some trinkets. His pay going up.
Mm-hmm.
He filling them seats. That's what that he was a triple double in everything he did when it came to. So to be a triple double speaker, you are impacting every facet of some of your listeners' life. Is not listen. Professional speakers speak for contracts.
Mm-hmm.
They speak for contracts. Your amateurs, they only speak for the oohs and the ahs. That's our time, folks. That's our time, folks. We went over today on this one. We went over an hour because this was a lot of information we had to give you. We hope that this was an impact for you. We hope that the nuggets that we dropped in here were good for you, and that you could take these and implement them in your game. What you think?
Absolutely.
Talk to 'em,
Absolutely.
Jay.
I think what's already understood don't need to be explained.
Don't need to be explained. All right, guys, that's our time, man. Thank you for joining us today on the Speakers Roundtable, man. We enjoy you. We enjoy this conversation. We love you guys. Listen, keep it authentically real in everything that you do. And understand that we are here for you. Next time, we're going to have you here and you're going to be a part of this conversation. It's your boy, Big Kev. That's my man, JTM. This is the Speakers Roundtable. Holla back at your boy.
Peace.
Peace.